My friend had a question.
Yeah. Okay, I've had trouble with 24 Hour Fitness before, and I came in, and your clerk seemed not to be educated herself. Service dogs.
Yes.
Do you know how to handle service dogs?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, if I came in with a dog right now, your employee said one thing. So let's see what you have to say. Well, how do you treat them?
So in regards to service dogs, they're fully accessible.
They're allowed, but do you require paperwork?
So it's not necessary. We don't always have to ask for paperwork. If somebody else has to provide paperwork, that's one thing. But if like you say, if another member or if anybody is asking about paperwork for a service dog,
I've had that happen.
Okay, so so when anybody does ask to provide any proof for a service dog, then you can provide that. If you do have the paperwork to provide for the service dog, then no problem.
Okay, well, what paperwork would I have to be able to provide?
Something that proves that it is a service dog, that it is your service dog.
Basically, federal law stipulates that it's actually against the law to ask for paperwork. That basically the law is completely on his side, in as much to say that if he has a service dog, because he has a real legitimate problem, if he walks in, as long as the dog is not interrupting people, as long as the dog looks and acts like they're trained, then legally he is good to go to bring the dog in, and without paperwork. That's honestly what the law is.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
I got to work out here, but God, he needs that dog.
Which is totally fine. I mean,
there's a little more. Let me get the manual while I get the manager here. But do you know your company's policy?
Yeah, we do allow access for service dogs.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing. Let me quote it verbatim. If someone comes in with a dog, you are to make every opportunity to assist them and make no further inquiries. This paper thing you're talking about, the papers to prove it, those don't exist, by the way.
Okay.
Your employee said that they were looking at a card, that they wanted a card. Okay, cards don't exist. They're all fake. Anything anyone's ever shown you is fake, and it is a crime to ask them.
Okay.
And a member asking is a separate form of crime. That's a hate crime.
It actually is. It's a hate crime.
It's
discrimination.
It's discrimination. It relates to disability. It's under a protected. It's a hate crime.
So my question for you is: the dog that you bring in does have a vest. Does show that it is a service dog? No,
you don't have to have a vest. Legally, you don't have to have a vest.
You're allowed to use them if you want to. In some cases, it's necessary to advise people don't distract this dog, don't pet it.
So for that, what I'll do is I can get information from our office, just so I can give you that information.
Yeah, I do. This is just a sting operation, man, to see if you all know what you're doing. That's it. I know your policy. I can quote it verbatim. I know. Yeah, so 24-Hour Fitness is the most important of all the battles of fight. But here's how it works. Your company policy is written exactly like what I'm telling you, which is in line with the law. What your stores do, what your
employees need to be made aware.
Your clubs do is discriminate and do what you just said you were going to do over and over and over and over repeatedly until you drive out the person with the service dog. And that's what it's been for me. I've been fighting you guys for like 7 years, just like what she said and just like what you said. If you come in with the dog, you're going to have trouble. You cannot ask them for papers. Another person, another member doesn't have the right to identify you, to ask your name. You don't have, let me give the lecture of what you're supposed to do. If someone comes in with a dog or a horse, and they say, this is my service animal, you can only say two things. Is it a service animal? What is the function of the animal? That's it. That's the law.
If the animal doesn't provide a disruption.
It has to do, anything beyond that is nothing to do with the fact it's a service animal. If something happens, and you would eject a human for that reason, too loud, too smelly, they're too long, didn't buy anything, whatever, that's fine. Okay, but there's no situation in which you can ask for papers or identification. I'll check back at some point.
Absolutely. So now you said that you've been doing this for
7 years. I've been fighting 24-Hour Fitness.
And is it just random clubs that you've been having issues at? Is it overall?
Overall. I've turned this into my life's focus and my passion, and you all have a horrible failure rate. I've never been treated properly or respectful in the club one time with the dog in a live fire situation. I've never not been harassed, not once. I've had multiple times. I've done protests outside. I've spent hundreds of dollars in printer shop fees to get the law, print out the Americans with Disabilities Act, which is the applicable law here, and give it out to people. I've stood out front, and like Torrance is my main area. I've stood out front and told everyone for days at a time, this place discriminates, they won't follow the law, here's the law.
It's literally
and 7 years
tantamount
later,
to-
there's no training. The
Honestly,
same